Hello, everybody, and thanks, Heidi, for already commenting. Nice to see you all. This is Desert Island Flicks, episode 7. So this is the 7th time that I've asked a friend to tell me what 10 films they would like to take with them if they had a chance to rewatch a film hundreds of times. Obviously, you need a projector and you need all sorts of different things. But, we're going to suspend our disbelief for the purpose of talking about 10 films. It should be a lot of fun. And Gavin has proved on my Christmas quiz and all sorts of other live streams how knowledgeable he is. So it should be, well, I already know what the films are. It should be a very interesting list of 10 films that are kind of good ones to talk about. And if you don't know Gavin, I'm going to ask him to talk about his channel for a second, because hopefully you do anyway. But you may not, and it may be something where Gavin gets a bunch of subscribers, which would be lovely. Gavin, what's your channel?
Hello, my channel is Genre Books, and I talk about pretty much whatever's going. So I track some of the booktube events, but I like talking about pulp literature, usually sort of stuff on the genre side, but I do dip into the more sort of established literary classics or what have you from time to time, and I love delving into the backlist. I don't do much in the way of modern books, unfortunately. I've got to draw the line somewhere, and I think I've drawn that line around 1984.
What, the book 1984?
Actually, no, I do read stuff from the 60s and the 70s, but yeah.
Have you read 1984, by the way? George Orwell?
Yes, yeah. I love that. No, I mean, it's a while since I've read it. I've got a few more Orwells to go, but I mean, I love stuff Down and Out in Paris and London, Road to Wigan Pier, Animal Farm. I think we did at school.
Right. Yeah.
Without being taught any of the context.
Yeah, it needs the context. Well, it doesn't need it, but it's obviously much better as a piece of work with the context. I know my son studied Animal Farm because we were talking about it a lot, and he got really into looking into specifically Lenin and Trotsky, probably because he's my son. But that was really cool seeing him reading Animal Farm. But I read 1984 in school, so we did see the film Animal Farm actually. So we must have covered it in some way. There's a British animation film, isn't there, of Animal Farm? So we did watch that. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Orwell, so that was a bit of a side thing. But yeah, no, check out Gavin's channel because it is absolutely fantastic, and he does lots of different projects as well besides the booktube events. And I don't know, it'd be difficult to list them, wouldn't it? You do so many different projects.
Yes, a little bit. At the moment, doing a little bit of nothing on each one, but
a little bit of nothing goes a long way, right?
Yeah, they're going to be long term. Some of these.
Yeah. I've got I've got one particularly long term thing, which is the thing I'm doing with Greg, which I need to catch up on actually, which is the J.G. Ballard stories. But there's a few other things I'm doing as well, which are taking me forever. The Ray Bradbury thing is going to take me a long time, but
we've got time.
Hey, we've got time.
We've got time. Oh,
thank you, Doctor. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's just to start off with, before we go into the films, we'll look at Heidi's comments, because Heidi's commented 4 times and nobody else has yet. So, hi Heidi, thank you so much for popping in. Heidi says, I'm here, movie lovers. I expect great things from the movie trivia king, Gavin.
Ready to disappoint you.
I think you gained some kind of reputation from the Christmas quiz, because the other two didn't know any of the answers, and all of it. It was brilliant. And yeah, I really tried to make it like a US friendly quiz, but I don't know. They don't watch The Great Escape. That's an American film, isn't it?
So the American director, the big star was American. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty American. The composer was American.
Yeah, I thought it was more American than British, but I mean, because I remember at the time them saying, not at the time because I'm too young, but certainly when I hear the film talked about, they say that they added things and changed things to be more American. Like there were more Americans in the film than were in the actual.
Having Americans in that prisoner of war camp.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So yeah. Oh well, never mind. Yeah, but that was a fun quiz anyway. I enjoyed doing it. So I just watched the Andromeda Strain last night. That's a great film.
I love that film.
That's a great film.
That's
based on Michael Crichton, isn't it?
Yeah, the book's good as well, but the film is just. I mean, it's very of its time. It just looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Even though it's supposed to be sort of very, sort of dull, the colors. I mean, each of these floors being on different colors is brilliant.
That's a great
Robert Wise, isn't it? So.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So, so it's 3 really good science fiction films. Day the Earth Stood Still and Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Star Trek: The Motion, or the motionless picture,
and West Side Story.
Have you read We?
Yeah. Evgeny was it Zamatian, something like that?
Yeah,
years ago.
Zamatian, yeah. We did a discussion on YouTube about We. I can't remember which channel put it on. It might have been Greg. Can't remember who it was, but somebody we had this End of the World book club, which seems to have fizzled out recently. Actually, I need to remind people that that exists. But we read We, and we read 984, and we were going to read Brave New World, but we didn't get there. So I think everyone seemed to have forgotten that was happening. But we did a really cool live stream about it.
You need to bring that back. I want in on that one.
Yeah.
End of the World every time.
Yeah. It's a really cool idea, and it was really nice reading We because I hadn't read it. Oh no, I just read it, and then I kind of got involved in the live stream because I just read it. I think it's really good. It's different to a 1984, but it was obviously the precursor to 1984. I think the thing with 1984 is there's so much to it, so many different layers to it, and We's brilliant, but it doesn't do the world building and all the commentary that 984 does. 984 is quite unique, I think.
Yes, and it's also unique that everyone thinks it supports their political point.
Yeah, which probably is down to how much is in it. You can interpret it a little bit. Okay, this one is. I think I saw a cartoon movie of Animal Farm in school. Yeah, you probably did. Yeah, it's a really good British. There's not a lot of examples of full-length British animation in those days. There's a lot more now, thanks to the Aardman animations and stuff. But in those days, I think it was a 70s film or maybe early 80s. I'm not sure, but there wasn't a lot of full-length British animation films at the time. I think
it was 70s. I would think they would have struggled to get the funding for that in the UK in the 1980s.
Yeah, I think so. But great version. Most were expecting Christmas themed movies. Well, even whatever we were expecting, they didn't. They. It's not about doing the homework. They just didn't know the answers to the films I thought they'd know the answer to. It's a difficult thing making questions up. Anyway, you're always going to pitch it badly, even if you try your hardest. But it was good fun anyway. I don't know if I'd run out of films. I think if I did a Christmas themed movies thing, we do. Do you know Kahoot, the online game Kahoot?
No.
Have you heard of that? I sometimes do. I only know that really because of being a teacher, but the students really like playing Kahoot. And at Christmas, sometimes we do Christmas themed movies, Kahoots. And half of them we don't even know because they're done by Americans and they're like American made for TV Christmas films. And we're like,
the Hallmark channel.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, so the first question I always give you before the films is, when was the last time you went to the cinema? So I think the best way to see films is in the cinema, which is why I think it's a nice way to start. So when was the last time?
It was a few months ago, and it was watching a theatre production of Macbeth.
Nice.
So I think it was like the Donmar Warehouse, the recent production they've had. So David Tennant and Cush Jumbo.
Wow, that's awesome.
It was really good. I hadn't seen theatre in the cinema before, and I was expecting it to be sort of very static. I was like, well, there's a performance going on. We'll put a camera up there. We'll see that.
Yeah.
But it was much more cinematic than I was expecting. Lots of tracking shots, close-ups, all of that sort of stuff. I don't think there was an audience involved. Otherwise, they would have been distracted by all the cameras. So I learned something. That was a new experience. Not my first Macbeth at the theatre, but certainly my first Macbeth at the theatre at the cinema. It was really good.
Yeah, I saw Doctor Strangelove in the cinema a little while ago. So that wasn't the last time I went, but it was the time before. So it was about a month ago, I suppose. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. Really, it's a really good experience. And I imagine some people might not do something like that because they think, well, that's weird. But it's not. It's not weird once you're there, I suppose.
And it's a good way to get, to support the arts in that manner as well. Because I mean, we did look at getting tickets for it. It was absolutely prohibitive.
Yeah,
really terrible.
Although I've now discovered, thanks to my trip this week, that the West End is cheaper than Broadway. Broadway was insane. I looked up a couple of shows now, like $700 for a good seat. It's like, okay, well, at least it's not that bad. But yeah, West End is still expensive. So the last time I went was to see Sinners. Definitely recommend you see Sinners. It was fantastic.
I've heard some good things about that. That's the guy that did Black Panther, isn't it?
Yeah. And Creed as well. So this makes me want to watch Creed, because I wouldn't normally go to watch that. I mean, I watched the Rocky films when I was a kid, but I'm not as interested now. But I am definitely, now that I'm interested in the director,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty cool. Right. So let's have a look at your list. 10. Are you putting them in order, or are you just going to do it randomly?
I'll do them in the order that I sent you, I suppose.
Okay. Cool.
Bringing anything like this down to 10 is just absolutely crazy. There's so much left on the cutting room floor. But I tried to do genres, and then I did a few countries. So I picked one of each major genre, and then some geographical ones as well.
Because that's right. Because you have got one that's not in English language. So was that a deliberate attempt to not have something where they're all in English?
There's a couple there. Yeah.
Is there right. Okay. Yeah. No, I get that. Because you want it to be an interesting list to chat about, but it is impossible to make 10 films in it. It's ridiculous.
And they're all subtitled. I'm guessing anyone coming onto your channel can read. So.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the first one I picked was a war film, and the other one I nearly picked Run Silent, Run Deep, Gallipoli, Paths of Glory, The Great Escape, Apocalypse Now. You could have had Ice Cold in Alex. I nearly picked Zulu. The Battle of Algiers for another foreign film.
Love this. You're gonna end up with 100 films you've listed, aren't you?
But the one I've chosen is not nearly as artsy as some of those. It's Where Eagles Dare.
Clint Eastwood, right?
Richard Burton, Clint Eastwood, 1968. Directed by Brian G. Hutton, who didn't direct that many films, but straight after making Where Eagles Dare, he went on to make Kelly's Heroes, which is another great war film.
That's a great film, yeah.
And he used to be an actor as well. I think he was in a lot of sort of Western TV series, not a regular, but a bit part player in a whole bunch of stuff. And then he gave up directing in the early 80s.
Okay.
And became a plumber.
I love that. Became a plumber.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the story behind it is, but that's what he ended up doing. But yeah, so
why do you love Where Eagles Dare? What?
This is just. It's a war film, but it's an adventure film, and it's an espionage film, and it's an action film. It's got some great set pieces, like specifically that the fight on the cable car.
Yeah.
It's got all the tension of trying to break into this German. It is basically a fortress. It's got a great twist, which I'm not going to talk about in case people haven't seen it, and it's got a fantastic cast. So Richard Burton's career is sort of on the ebb at this point, but this is like his last big hurrah as a movie star, and it's completely unlike almost all of his other roles, he's just playing a soldier.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's completely against his type, and it's an action film, which is not what you sort of think of Richard Burton as doing. I mean, Clint Eastwood, you can sort of imagine it, even though I'm sort of wondering what this American movie star's doing in the British war film, but it's American.
He did a few war films, didn't he? But he didn't do that many himself, did he?
No. Well, he's probably made more than he's been in.
Yeah. Now, yeah.
But then you've got a whole sort of backup cast as well. You've got Michael Hordern as one of the British generals. Yeah. You've got Darren Nesbitt, he's a face who always sort of crops up in various things. He's been in stuff like The Prisoner. He's never had a major part, but if you see him, you know who he is.
Yeah, because I don't recognise his name, so I'm sure I'd recognise his face, but I don't know that one.
It's got Patrick Wymark, Mary Ure. It's got Ingrid Pitt, and she's going to turn up later.
She was in a film I watched a couple of weeks ago from Horror Mayhem.
And it's got Neil McCarthy in it in a small part. He was in Zulu as well, so right. I'll put my Zulu mark on it in there. But I just it's been a while since I've seen it, but every time it's one of those films. If I catch it, I've got to see this to the end because the end is spectacular.
How many times have you seen it? Do you think?
3 or 4, I think. Not endlessly, but I don't. I've tried not to pick films that I know absolutely inside out,
right?
Because I don't need those on the island. I could probably replay those in my head.
Yeah, I think when I did my list, because I didn't do it as a live stream, I did it as a separate video. I tried to think of films that I know I wouldn't get bored by because I've seen them so many times already. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's quite cool.
I mean, I could probably quote most of the script to With Now Than I. So do I need to take it? I've got such a vivid.
You can just walk around acting it.
Yeah. I can imagine me on a desert island going around saying, I demand to have some booze.
I can imagine that actually. So okay, brilliant. And we haven't got any comments about that one yet. So let's go on to the second film.
Yeah. So Westerns. Being June the 1st, start of June on the Range. Probably a shorter list. I haven't seen as many Westerns as I would like, but I still had some others. I nearly chose The Magnificent Seven. So, a lot of these actors, Great Escape, Magnificent Seven, they're getting the nearly nods, but they're not. Nearly chose The Wild Bunch, but I love the film. I don't know if I want to watch it again and again. High Noon, again, I love that film.
Yeah.
How many times could I rewatch it?
Yeah, High Noon's one of my favorites, but I don't think I could watch it forever. I think a couple more times, I reckon, and then it'll be too. It's too quiet, I guess. It's too. Yeah.
I think the song might drive you mad as well. Played a lot in that movie. And nearly The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. But I've gone for The Searchers by John Ford, because John Ford, pretty much the master of the Western film, and of the ones of his that I've seen, it's my favorite. It's John Wayne, Jeffrey Hunter, Natalie Wood, and Natalie Wood's younger sister Lana Wood playing the younger version of the Natalie Wood character.
Okay.
And then it's got some odd little sort of smaller character parts in it as well. Hank Warden plays this guy Mose. He comes across as a bit simple-minded. He just wants his rocking chair. There is a sort of real background to it, and you've got the Natalie Wood's parents characters are like real sort of frontier types. and their daughter Natalie Wood has been abducted by Indians, and it has happened a long time ago. And John Wayne's character Ethan comes back, I think, from the Civil War.
Yeah.
So he's been traumatized by war, but traumatized in a John Wayne kind of way, that he's not going to, he's not going to give an inch. He's not going to tell anyone that he's in pain. Finds that she's been kidnapped, like his niece has been kidnapped, so he goes out to find her. He wants to go by himself. Jeffrey Hunter says, "No, I'm going with you. I think he's the brother." And he's sort of very much the junior partner to John Wayne, and they go searching, hence the title, for Natalie Wood. The scenery is fantastic. Some of the shots just stay with me, and I think it is what I like about film a lot is just moments. There are scenes, there are bits that can absolutely sort of transcend anything, even if the whole film might not be fantastic. There'll be something in some films which, I'll just watch that. I could just watch a few scenes again and again. There's a scene near the end where he's walking away, framed by a doorway, and with sort of the Western American landscape in the background just looks like an oil painting. It is just fantastic. Also, it's got Jeffrey Hunter in it, as well as being June on the Range. It's also Quick Trek.
That's right. Yeah, you combine.
He is the first. He is the first
Pike.
Christopher Pike. Yeah. He was in the pilot, wasn't he?
Yes, and then obviously brought back again for the Cage.
Yes,
they used all the footage to make a new plot, which I think is genius. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, well, waste not, want not.
Yeah. There's a great episode because Spock kind of kidnaps the ship, doesn't he, to try and rescue the old captain. This is great. Yeah,
I mean, it shows sort of quite a lot of emotion from Spock.
Yeah,
I mean, he was good as Pike. I think he just had another. I don't know why he didn't do it. I don't know if he had other commitments or what have you.
I think it was a test screening, and it just and they just felt like they needed to change the actor. So yeah, I think he was good as well. So don't know what that's about.
And he died young as well, unfortunately.
Yeah.
As did Natalie Wood.
Absolutely.
There you go. Yeah. So there's a few actors in there. You could have got seen more of. But yeah, I really love it. It's not a typical Western film. This isn't sort of a stagecoach going through being chased by groups of Native Americans, or it isn't very militaristic. It's almost a simple story. It's just the two of them going out and finding her.
Yes, it's got a bit of a True Grit feel to it. I think that sort of small plot, character based stuff.
Yeah, and you don't quite know what's going to happen because he thinks she was kidnapped 5 years ago. She is going to be insensible. She's not going to remember anything. She's going to be she's almost sort of tainted by being part of this Indian tribe. He's going out thinking he's going to have to kill her because he really hates Native Americans. Yeah. Quite in contrast to how he actually was, John Wayne, when he's filming that. So there's a couple of stories about on set. So Jeffrey Hunter's character ends up getting married by accident to a Native American squaw, and the actress who is playing the wife, John Wayne found her one day on the set, and she was sort of all tearful. So what's wrong? And it turns out, she was going to miss her brother's wedding But she needed the part, she needed the work, but she was going to miss her brother's wedding, and it was quite important. So he got Ford involved, got production shut down, and for
Really?
2 or 3 days, so she could go, go to her brother's wedding.
Wow. Was she a Native American actress?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And
I like that.
Another story from there is that they were out. They were out filming on set. Because they're in a sort of a town area. A child, I think it was a Navajo child, fell sort of quite seriously ill, and basically he had his private plane, and he got his pilot just to fly the kid to the hospital 200 miles down down the road, as it were. Given sort of, I mean, there's a lot of problems with John Wayne. It's nice to hear some nice stories about him from time to time.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting addition to what we already know about. So yeah, that's cool.
But
let's have a look at some. I've got some. Yeah, that's brilliant. I've got some comments from Heidi here. So, oh my God, The Searchers has significant meaning to me. Fantastic. The last movie I watched with my dad. Fantastic. I was going to say nothing beats watching a movie with your dad. Forget the actual theatre. Yeah. As a dad, I can't say anything about watching stuff with my dad because he wasn't around. But my experience with my kids, it meant the world to me and the kids when we started watching stuff together. And there's like two periods. Like you watch films with them when they're kids, and then there's another period where you're watching them once they're a certain age. You can watch anything, and that's exciting as well. You can start watching horror films and all that sort of stuff with them. But yeah, no, we used to go weekly. Me and my wife used to take them weekly to the local cinema for the discount family films.
Yeah.
A lot of the early Pixar films we watched like that. But there was always something on. It was always really interesting. So yeah, cinema's awesome, and yeah, seeing them with your kids is amazing.
And some of those kids' films are fantastic. Other ones are absolutely mind-bendingly awful. If I never see another Ice Age movie again, it would be too soon. But the Pixar ones generally were pretty good. And
Pixar are really clever.
Toy Story 3, I mean, that's one of the best endings in cinema.
Toy Story 3 is such a good plot, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's really thrilling, and it's got this sinister end to like a sinister part to it. No, that's brilliant. Ice Age, I think, would try with is that DreamWorks Ice Age?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes DreamWorks just try to do the old Disney films kind of style, maybe a little bit more modern, but it's kind of like that. And I think Pixar were never trying to be anyone else; they were just trying to do their own thing all the way from the beginning, I think.
And always doing something different as well.
Yeah, and pushing
a different setting. I mean, it's usually the same things. It's usually taking.
There are some real exceptions in there. If you think of WALL-E,
but it's always okay. Well, I mean, I'll put it this way: it's always something with feelings. So, we're going to do a film about fish that have feelings, or bugs that have feelings.
Something with feelings. That's a little bit.
Well, the sort of embodiment of feelings, and it sort of reaches its apex when they do Inside Out, and it's like, well, okay, what if we got feelings with feelings?
That's an amazing way to summarize Pixar's output.
I mean, it's a whole gamut of anthropomorphization. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah. So
inanimate objects or animals which have human qualities. There you go. Anthropomorphic.
Yeah. Well, that's as old as animation. That is. But yeah. That's awesome. Let's have a look at what else that Heidi's written here. So, I also think most of Clint Eastwood's spaghetti westerns and his Dirty Harry movies can be watched again whenever you come across them. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The Dirty Harry stuff comes on our TV quite a lot. Maybe not as much in the last few years, I suppose. But yeah, they were always on through my 20s, 30s, 40s. Yeah. And spaghetti westerns come up now and again. They are. I can watch those over again. They're a very different tone, aren't they, to his Dirty Harry ones? Because the only
yes, yeah. I mean, it's yeah, it's just they're doing different things by that stage. I mean, it's just sort of it's post Peckinpah by that stage, isn't it? So I
Yeah.
mean, Peckinpah was pretty much a sort of a watershed. You know, it was a way of keeping the Western relevant in modern cinema. When I say modern, sort of like late '60s onwards, when it's sort of dying out. You know, it wasn't as popular anymore. Um, made it sort of more of an art form, but made it a sort of bit more violent as well to keep up with the times.
Well, I'd say the spaghetti westerns aren't as much violent as just like beautifully made cinematography and like the pace and the tone and all that. It seems like they're like I don't know, moving landscapes as much as violent films. You know what I mean? It's like the violence interrupts it in a way with the spaghetti western ones. But no, I love those films. The Dirty Harry ones are kind of in a way, they're bringing in this new age of uh, what's the word for it? I can't think of it now. The word when someone goes rogue and starts
Maverick, anti-hero,
that kind of thing. Yeah, but the vigilante, that's it. He's almost a vigilante, even though he's still got his badge. Although he throws his badge away, I think, at the end of the first one. But yeah, it's that kind of like, Maverick, do anything he wants kind of thing that ends up being really popular in the 70s and all that. So it's almost like that.
Yes, well, like Bronson and the Death Wish stuff. And that's slightly later, isn't it? But
yeah, but that's part of that whole thing, isn't it? So yeah, no, they're great. Nice one, Heidi. We've got a comment here about Strange New Worlds with the new Pike is excellent. Anson Mount, isn't it? Yeah, big fan of Anson Mount and his prior Hell on Wheels Western show.
No, I've not seen either. I haven't seen the Strange New World series. I hear good things about it, but you know, do I want to pay her for another streaming service?
Yeah, that's
Probably
it.
Not.
I didn't see it for ages, and I saw it on the plane. I saw the first 3 episodes. I think it was on the plane going to New Orleans last year. But I haven't got Paramount Plus either. Yeah, it's tempting to buy it because I am a big Trek fan, and it seems weird that that's the one thing I haven't seen because everything else has been available to us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because Discovery was with us for a while, and you can't see the last season of Discovery now without Paramount
Yes,
Plus.
that disappeared as well.
Yeah. So
Picard was on Amazon, so I got to see that.
Yeah, I saw Picard. Yeah, I absolutely love Picard. Yeah, so it'd be nice to see it. The first 3 episodes I thought were good. I didn't think those were better than Picard actually, but some people don't like Picard. But I loved it. But certainly better than Discovery, which is a little bit messy, I think. Although I will defend it and say there's some good things about Discovery. But is that Dave from Book Blava, right?
Yeah.
Discovery is actually his favourite kind of Star Trek.
Okay.
Which is interesting because everyone flags it off.
I can see it. I mean, it's a little bit knowing, and it's a little bit out there, and it's mucking around with the time. Yeah. I don't think people mind it mucking around with time. They mind it mucking around with canon.
Yeah.
If it's set in the past, it must look like the sets are made of plywood or something.
They can't do that, can they? Because it's a bit of a weird criticism. You just literally can't film it like that.
I mean, there are people that make their entire living off of just posting YouTube videos bitching about Star Trek, and I don't want to give time to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Enterprise was supposed to be set before, and even that, I think they tried to make an effort like that, but it still looked modern.
I like Enterprise.
You like
it?
Enterprise?
It took a while to get going, but by the end of it, I was upset when that series finished because you get invested in the characters, and I think it's a really strong crew.
Right. Okay. I'm still waiting to be convinced. I'm watching it again actually at the moment. It's on Netflix, isn't it? I am watching it again, and that's my least favorite. So at the moment, but I'm hoping it'll win me over. Like you said, if I keep going to the end, because I stopped watching it halfway through the first season when it was first on.
Right. I mean, I don't think it really I don't think it really clicks until some point in the second.
Right.
Not quite sure when, but they start to have longer stories, and it just really sort of ramps up a bit.
Yeah.
They do keep the actually the theme tune changes. It's the same song, but they give it a bit more up tempo because it does start out
that
like
was so
some sort of Bon
controversial, wasn't
Jovi
it?
ballad.
Yeah. No, I remember when it first came out because I watched it as it came out because I was a big Trek fan anyway, and I was watching it every night when it came out, and I was like, oh, okay, new series, and then it started with a song, and it was so controversial that it was like, whoa, hold on a minute, this isn't an instrumental theme, this is a song, and Diane Warren wrote it, and she's obviously very clever, and it's definitely a good tune. But it was a lot like, what? It's a song to get around that. It should be a theme. But yeah, that was fun. But I don't know. Maybe there's like for me, it has to have like one or two characters that I'd link into straight away. Like I was helped a lot with Discovery because I really loved Saru, the really tall.
He's great.
Doug Jones character. I really like that character. So that maybe that's a thing. I don't know. I mean, my favorite Star Trek is Deep Space Nine by a mile. I love it. I absolutely love it, and that's full of characters. So it could be something like that. Jim's here.
Hi, Jim.
Hello, Jim. Hey, compadres. Jim's full on June on the range now, isn't he? He's probably.
Oh yeah.
He'll be walking around with a Stetson on, isn't he? And he's probably whipping people as he walks down the street.
How many other BookTube events might that cover?
Yeah. Jim says, I enjoyed Enterprise. They did a good job on it. There we go. Yeah, I know a lot of people liked it. The first season Discovery felt like a movie, and a twist towards the end was sweet. Oh, the first season, the twist at the first season. Was that that guy was a Klingon? The guy with the beard was actually a Klingon. I think that was the twist. I thought he was a good character, but then he ended up betraying them, didn't he?
Yeah. In fact, it was Jason Isaacs who.
Oh yeah, there was that twist as well.
That was a twist.
Yeah. Because they had to change the captain and everything. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was cool. How's the jet lag? Well, I actually asked Gavin if we can move it forward a bit because today's just been weird. So I did sleep yesterday, but we didn't. But before that, we hadn't slept for over 24 hours, and it was all a bit weird. So yeah, I am going to be fine, I think, tomorrow going to work. But yeah, today has been weird. It's got to be said. It's funny, Gav, while we're chatting, there's people in these Voxer chats that keeps coming up with and I want to just go on to them and go, oi, we're doing a live stream, watch us.
I've turned the phone around so I can't see any notifications.
Yeah. All right, hold on. Jim says, I like the first season of Strange New Worlds, but it lost its way in the second season. Okay, well, I think the third season starts off with a really weird thing where they're in each other's bodies or something. Oh, no, they're permanently Vulcan, I think, or something like that. I saw a trailer for it and I thought it was a bit weird. But yeah, we'll see. I do definitely want to catch up at some point. Somehow we managed to talk about Star Trek. Was that because of Jeffrey Hunter? Probably was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Jeffrey Hunter and also Book Trek.
Yeah, I was a co-host for Book Trek every year, but this year I've actually bowed out because I just don't think I'll be able to read any Trek stuff because I've got so much on my list of stuff I need to read. So it's a bit weird not doing it because I love Trek so much. But
this is my first time round with it, but I'm only reading 3 books across the 3 months, so I'm just I'm starting slow. I've never read any Star Trek books before, so
yeah. Well, they got rid of a Brit and then added a Brit later. I get that. We're representing, or you're representing.
Oh, I'm not hosting or anything.
Oh, you're not hosting. You're just doing.
No.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I'm just cool. I'm spectator from the side.
Well, hopefully they'll notice your Trek videos. You gotta maybe tag them anyway. Tag the co-host anyway. Just say.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I'll come in and co-host. I know nothing about these books.
Okay, right. The next one is interesting because I absolutely love the director, and he's such an interesting guy. So we might end up talking about him for a bit. So tell me what the third one is.
So it's a comedy. So again, big long list. it was very nearly Life of Brian. I already mentioned With Another Night. It was nearly With Another Night. I could have had Trading
Oh, so
Places.
this one film is
This
representing all
is
comedy.
all comedy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Could have been Annie Hall or Spinal Tap. Could have been half a dozen Marx Brothers films. Could have been quite a few Wes Anderson films, actually.
Okay.
But yeah, I've gone for The Death of Stalin, which is probably the blackest comedy on that list. The Death of Stalin is a 2017, directed by Armando Iannucci. And did he direct that Strangelove that you saw?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And I think kind of rewrote it a bit. Sort of reimagined it a bit.
So Armando Iannucci, I mean, he's done a few films. He's done a Dickens adaptation. He's an absolute Dickens nut.
Yeah,
he is a proper Dickens expert. But yeah, David Copperfield.
His David Copperfield was so brilliant. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was hilarious. It made me want to read it, which is like, I'm not really a Dickens guy, so that film made me want to read David Copperfield. I don't know if it's as funny as I imagine the pace must be completely different.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's a bit more of an expansive experience, a Dickens novel compared to a movie. But yeah, the characters are so well drawn. He does take, he takes a few liberties, obviously, but I mean, it's a great film. He also did In the Loop,
yes,
which was his big screen adaptation of The Thick of It, which was sort of a slow burn hit in the UK and a much bigger hit when they transferred the idea to America and did Veep.
Yes.
But you probably know him first from the same thing I know him for, which is The Day to Day, and then Alan Partridge.
Yep, absolutely. The Day to Day is so incredible.
That was a seminal moment of my TV watching. I just could not believe that show, and now everything looks like it. It's possibly the funniest show. For a comedy, for just a straight up comedy, I would put it up with 40 Towers or Police Squad for just sheer amount of laughs.
And it was so accurate in the way it took the piss out of news reporting as well. Much better than Drop the Dead Donkey in that sense. Because I think Drop the Dead Donkey was kind of gentler in some ways, whereas The Day to Day was just brutal with the way it just had, everything was like had the piss taken out of it so strongly.
I think Drop Dead Donkey was taking the piss out of news events, and it could do because they were filming it almost live.
Yeah.
But The Day to Day was just taking the piss out of the news itself and how the news is presented. I think it's a work of genius, and I've followed him every night, every thing he's done since. There's Friday Night Armistice, The Time Trumpet, The Thick of It.
I tell you what, I don't know how I got hold of it because I never listened. I don't think I listened to it at the time, but I'll have to send them to you. I've got these audio files, which is from a Radio 2 show he had called the Armando Iannucci Show. Did you listen to it? Do you know it?
I haven't listened to those, no.
It's so funny. I will send. They're obviously like MP3 files, so it's easy to send them, but they are absolutely amazing. If anyone's watching this, and I've just noticed someone's just appeared, which is very cool that you're here. So Moid is here from Media Death Cult. If you want them, send me an email. And they are so good. I think it's 6 episodes, and they're just hilarious. I remember in the days when I used to listen to that kind of thing. Well, I used to have my iPod on me all the time on buses. Before BookTube persuaded me to take a book instead, and I'd have I'd like be playing music and then one of those shows would come on. I'd be absolutely pissing myself laughing on the bus, and then occasionally I realised and I'd look around and think, "Oh, I must look like an idiot." But it's so brilliant. It's so brilliant. If you want them, I'll send them to you. They are really good.
Yeah,
really
I'd like that because I enjoyed the On the Hour.
Right. Yeah.
So that was the sort of radio precursor. But yeah. But the film, right.
Yeah, the death of Stalin.
Back to the sort of modern day. So I mean, this was 8 years ago, the death of Stalin.
Yeah.
Still a sharp enough attack on the whole thing to be banned in Russia. Consequently, quite popular in Russia. But you think, oh, comedy gold. Let's start with Stalin dies and the tussle for power to see who's going to be next. But I think this is possibly the strongest casting. I always wonder why the casting people get such high billing in movies. And it's always, casting by this person. They've always got lots of letters after their name. It all looks very professional. I'm just thinking, well, you're just picking actors. But whoever did it for this movie absolutely earned their money, because you've got Steve Buscemi, you've got Jeffrey Tambor, Andrea Riseborough, Michael Palin, Paddy Considine, Jason Isaacs from Star Trek's Discovery, and Simon Russell Beale. And I love Simon Russell Beale. I first saw him in theatre, and he had just such a presence.
Yeah,
and
that's cool. You saw him in theatre.
Yeah, I saw him. He was playing Ariel in The Tempest, if you could believe it, because he's a big unit, but he really sort of sold, playing this sort of, spirit. And then I saw he was Edgar in King Lear. And he's just really good. He's been good in everything I've seen him in, and he's playing an absolute monster in this film. He's actually worse. The character is worse than is being portrayed, because I don't think you would believe how bad he was. He's playing Beria, who was the sort of Stalin's head of whatever the precursor to the KGB was. So the head of the sort of internal security forces. And he wants to be the next Soviet leader.
Yeah.
But so does pretty much everybody else. And Steve Buscemi is playing Nikita Khrushchev, which is, it is absolutely inspired. And everybody keeps their accents. So, you've got a New York Khrushchev, you've got a sort of home counties Beria. Molotov is from like the north of England. And Jason Isaacs is playing Grand Marshal Zhukov. And
yeah, I remember when I was watching it, I thought it was really absurd. There was an absurdist nature to the film. It was kind of less like really odd watching it.
So, he's playing Zhukov. His tunic, his military tunic, is absolutely, it's almost like a bulletproof vest of just medals. It isn't like he's got some medals there. They are on both sides, and he's almost got them down the sleeves and stuff. But they said that they actually had to sort of scale it back, because in reality he had even, the actual guy had even more. And he's playing him as a Yorkshireman, and it is fantastic. Yeah. It feels improvised. It's almost sort of like handheld camera in places.
Yeah.
It gets really tense. It's absolutely hilarious. It's got Paul Whitehouse in it as the Secretary of sort of Transportation or something. And then it gets really dark really quickly.
Yeah. And both work. Both tones work, don't they?
And it sort of flips, and it's a sort of quite a shocking moment. But it's like, yeah, thank God that happened. And then Steve Buscemi becomes, the leader of the Soviet Empire.
Brilliant. Right, hold on. We go. So the next one is from Moyd from Media Death Row. So he says, "I'm not driving a mini metro."
I don't know what you're missing out. My first car was a Rover Metro.
That's an Alan Partridge quote, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah. I think it is. So Heidi says to Moy, I just watched your history of science fiction. His videos, if you don't know Moy's channel, Media Death Cult, you have to go to find them because it's very funny, but he does his research and he knows what he's talking about. And he was one of the first channels I watched. So
I think the same for me, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of how I started thinking about whether to do it or not. You know, I wasn't. I mean, in those days, Moy didn't do video essays in the same way. It was just him talking to a camera. But I still thought, well, I'll do it, but I won't do it as good as that. But I'll do it. You know. So just watch your history of science fiction. Thank you. I immediately put iRobot on my TBR. Okay, yeah. Well, I've got that on my TBR as well. So I've not had a lot of success with Asimov in the past, but I was going to give that one in particular another go, and I've got it upstairs. So Heidi, if you want to buddy read it, then let me know.
Book's definitely better than the Will Smith film.
I love the Will Smith film.
Well, then you enjoy the book.
Oh, really? I don't know, because it's written by Asimov.
You're not a fan?
Not of his prose, not of the way he writes. That's the thing. He's got great ideas, but the way he writes, I've found it in the past when I was younger, because I haven't read Asimov for decades, but when I was younger, it was like reading treacle. You know, that's what I found.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of his characters. I mean, certainly in Foundation, it's like everyone's trying to be more avuncular than everybody else. It's all very sort of very staid and pipes, and you know. We'll
even the descriptive text felt really boring as well. And I'm just like, come on, man, put a little bit of wit in it or something. But yeah, I'm going to give it a go anyway because I'd like to like it. So I want to give it another go. Oops, hold on. Where am I? Oh, something's just weird just happened. There we go. Okay, so Jason Isaacs is so great, most underrated actor. Have you seen him star in the OA show? I haven't seen that. Have you seen the OA show?
Nope.
Don't know that. Don't know that one, Heidi? Might be something that we don't get to see. I'm not sure. Margaret's here. Hi, Margaret.
Hi, Margaret.
Oops. Hold on. Loved your vlog. Thank you. Thank you very much. And you made the comments. It looked like you were commenting while you were watching, which is always lovely when people do that. So thanks for doing that. And it took a while to edit it because obviously I had a lot of stuff on it. But yeah, it was a joy to put up. So thank you.
I haven't caught it yet, but I saw my wife was watching it earlier. So
yeah. Oh, that's cool. Your wife was watching it earlier.
I went upstairs probably about 20 minutes before we started this, and you were on the telly. And I thought,
you were like, "Don't watch that. I'm going to be with him in a minute." Moyes just put up a comment. Hold on. Try The Gods Themselves. It's got naked gymnastics on the moon. Okay, I need to read that. Naked gymnastics on the moon. 3 of my favorite things. No, I almost bought The Gods Themselves, and then I was so tempted, and then I remembered because it was right in front of me. It said Asimov on the top.
Wow, you've really got a problem with Asimov. Damn it!
I've been scarred.
I've got it. I've got it there somewhere. I've got The Gods Themselves. I haven't read it yet. I might have to.
Oh, well, there we go.
TBR.
Let's see. It comes recommended. I did a video of my Science Fiction Hall of Shame probably about 2 years ago or something, and that was one of them. There was a couple of others that were like, I haven't read this yet. I think The Earth Abides was one, but I'm thinking I will like The Earth Abides.
Earth Abides is fantastic.
Yeah, I've got that to read.
It's really good. I mean, that should be part of the End of the World book group. Sure.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that when I either add you to the group or say something in the group, everyone will go, "Oh my God, this was such a good idea. Why have we forgotten?"
Well, yeah, I'm into the group. I'm just going to start firing titles at people because you got Alas Babylon. That's a fantastic book.
Oh, there was a big list where you started with because we started voting for what we wanted to read. So there was a huge list. I think Greg made the list. There was a huge list. I mean, there are a lot of them. There's a lot of apocalyptic books. And they're more coming out every day. You know.
Yep, new ways to end the world.
Hey, new ways to end the world.
Always new ways to end the world.
Yep. I was watching the finale to The Last of Us earlier, which is fantastic. Oh yeah, we've got his great quote. He always says when he ever does. He always says, "I bloody love the end of the world." He says that whenever he does it. It's true. It's a great subject. So many ways to do it. So many ways to end the world.
I don't think I've got any Apocalypse.
Have you got any? No, I'm looking at your list. You haven't. You seem to be a little bit more positive, although.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. There's a general strain of bleakness, to be fair, but yeah, not the end of the world.
Well, the next one's pretty bleak as well, because the next category is horror.
Okay, go on.
And I mean, I could have had Don't Look Now, or The Exorcist, Jaws. Yeah, The Thing was very near. It was very nearly The
Come
Thing.
on, The Thing is a masterpiece.
Or Alien, or Rosemary's Baby. But I'm going for a bit of folk horror. I want The Wicker Man. So,
the original.
Of course, I've not seen the remake. I will not see the remake. It's the thing about remakes. You think sometimes you go, "Oh well, let's see what they do with that." With The Wicker Man, it's like, well, that's not going to be any good. It cannot be better.
I haven't watched the remake of Total Recall for the same reason.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah,
you know,
what are you doing?
You're all supposed to be creative people. Create something. Don't recreate it.
Oh, it makes me. I don't know. I was going to say I'm very worried about them remaking Logan's Run, but I watched I watched it again with two other people who were doing this like live podcast thing, and they ripped into it, saying it was awful and really dated. How the hell do you like that? And I was like, going, I just really love it. Is it dated? But apparently Logan's Run's really dated, so maybe I'm just a bit weird on that. But yeah, you got to. I
love Logan's Run. Logan's Run's great.
Yeah, I don't think it's dated. But yeah, I guess for some people these things get dated and you have to remake them. But The Wicker Man, come on, how's that? That can't be dated. The original was not dated, is it?
No.
Don't need to remake it.
I mean, it looks the part. It looks of its time, but it's
very weird. It's very eerie atmosphere, the whole thing, isn't
it? It's not about any particular set of time. It's about something that is, sort of quite ancient and horrible and timeless. And it's a director, Robin Hardy, who has barely done anything else. It's almost low key if it weren't for Christopher Lee.
Oh yeah.
Are you going to do the joke or shall I? I mean, you're the host.
No, you go for it.
Why is Edward Woodward called Edward Woodward?
Go on.
Because if not, his name would be. Oh no, sorry. Why does Edward Woodward have so many D's in his name?
Go on.
Because if not, his name would be Iwa Wiwa.
Iwa Wiwa?
Yeah.
I love that.
Edward Woodward, wouldn't he? Plays a doctor, plays a policeman who is called out. I think it's either a murder or a missing person on this place in Scotland called Somers Isle. It's very remote. He has to go there. Basically, he flies himself there in this tiny little plane. Well, I think it's a little seaplane owned by the police. Goes to this place, Somers Isle, tries to investigate the crime. And he knows that this place is wrong. Everybody is just weird. It is... He can't. I don't think he can quite put his finger on it, but he suddenly starts to see that everybody is sort of quite pagan, and his character is very Christian, sort of Presbyterian, sort of very sort of straight laced, and he starts butting up against the laird of the Isle, Lord Somers Isle. The Christopher Lee character.
Yeah, Christopher Lee's character, yeah.
It's one of Christopher Lee's best roles. One of his most scary roles, even in that sort of natty jacket and polo neck. It's from 1973. And as he investigates, he realizes that there is some sort of deep, dark horror going on. I mean, it's not got many jump scares. But the ending, which I don't know if you want to talk about the ending, is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's all about the ending in some ways, although it builds up really well. But yeah, I mean, you just settle back and the ending pays off.
and it's got Britt Ekland in it.
Yes.
Rod Stewart was going out with Britt Ekland at the time and tried to get the film not released, or the scene where she's naked cut. Because, rock and roll. It's got Ingrid Pitt in it. So Ingrid Pitt from Where Eagles Dare.
Yep. And the House That Dripped Blood, which is what I saw a couple of weeks ago. Ingrid Pitt's using that as well.
So I don't think it's a Hammer horror film.
The Wicker Man, I don't think it is.
But it has got very sort of strong vibes of it. And there aren't that many proper sort of folk horror movies. There's a couple of Hammer ones. I think probably Witchfinder General would sort of fall into it.
But there was a real, a spate of. There was like a real popular trend for horror in that period in the UK. There were loads of UK horror films around then, like tons of them. Yeah. It was a really big thing, wasn't it? Like, and obviously Hammer Horror's leading it, but there were loads of other companies doing it as well.
I mean, the horror of this is that there is nothing supernatural going on.
Yeah.
The monsters, the evil is just humans.
Yeah.
I still think you need to call it a horror film. I don't think you can describe it as anything else.
Yeah, because if you ask for a straight definition, difference between horror and thriller, you'd normally say, well, horror includes supernatural, thriller doesn't. But actually, that's not really a good description, because sometimes the most horror-like or horrific, or the things that you should call horror, some of those aren't supernatural. So, and if you don't believe in the devil, then The Exorcist isn't supernatural either.
That's true.
So,
if you're not willing to suspend your disbelief, you shouldn't be in the cinema.
You shouldn't be watching horror films anyway.
But yeah, I mean, Woodward is fantastic, and that's probably his biggest film role, because he's usually a like a TV actor, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he did some films.
He also reprises the setting for Hot Fuzz. He's in that, isn't he?
Yes. He's the head of the neighborhood watch. He's got a great death in that film.
Such a great film. Can I just say, because I think someone might have mentioned Hot Fuzz before in one of these other episodes, but I just love the fact that, I said earlier that cinema is the best way to see a film. And if you remember the bit in Hot Fuzz where he drop kicks the old lady, it's the most amazing moment in any film. There's this old woman in it. She holds the gun to him, and he does this massive drop, it knocks her out, and the entire cinema exploded with shrieking laughter. It was amazing. It's just like, wow, this is why you go to the cinema. It was so funny. Yeah, brilliant. But anyway, I'm sure Simon Pegg's earned a lot more money being in Mission Impossible than his Cornetto trilogy.
I haven't got past the second Mission Impossible film.
Yeah, me and Ali were saying that we're going to watch them, but I've only seen the first 20 minutes of the first one, something like that. So, yeah, they're not on our
I didn't mind the first one so much. The second one, and I don't mind, some John Woo films, but that was absolutely awful. Just so overblown. I mean, there's so much sort of slow motion stuff. It was like it's like watching like a 2-hour-long Guns N' Roses video. It's not my idea of entertainment.
2-hour-long Guns N' Roses video. I love that. Have we done? Oh yeah, right. So I wonder what that comment was. So Jack is here.
Hi, Jack.
Possibly not for very long. Just a quick hello, as it's bedtime. Yes, it is bedtime. It's true. But I love these film chats, so we'll have to watch this back at some point. Thank you so much, Jack, for saying hi, and maybe make a comment afterwards. Yeah. All right, so let's go to the next one. So that was The Wicker Man.
Yeah, so that was horror. I've gone for spy films next. So it could have been.
Did you have enough time to do all the genres, or was it like, I've got to pick 10 genres?
Well, I didn't even pick 10 genres. I think I've got 6 genres.
Okay, go on.
I'm afraid no romance film.
No rom-coms.
I might have had Love Story, actually. That would have been a good one. But yeah, for spy stuff, I mean, I could have chosen half a dozen James Bond films. I think I almost got sort of spoiled. It's like, I don't, you know what? That's just another decision. I don't need to make it.
So you're a big fan of the Bond films then?
I love Bond films, yes.
Oh, okay.
I could have had No Way Out with Kevin Costner. I think that's a really good film.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Could have gone a bit more old school, and it was nearly North by Northwest.
Yeah.
But I've gone with The Conversation by Francis Ford Coppola. So I think it's 1974.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it for a while, but I did watch it a few times when I was watching a lot more films. It is quite a claustrophobic, intense, almost internalized piece. It was something that Coppola had written in the 60s and couldn't get funding to do. 1972, he makes The Godfather, and everyone's like, "What are you going to give us next?" It's, "Oh, well, I just so happen to have this script. We're making this," and
I did a film you couldn't let me do before.
Yeah, and it's got a great cast, sort of small cast, but
yeah.
So the two main actors. So you got Gene Hackman as this sort of sound technician expert who is paid to eavesdrop on a conversation or overhears a conversation when he's trying to do something else, and realizes that, you know, someone is probably going to get bumped off should he get involved, so on and so forth. But it starts to affect him, and he wonders whether he's, you know, is he now part of this sort of conspiracy? Are they now after him? Do they know about him? Gene, and for some reason he's also a jazz music aficionado. But I mean, I'm not saying it's the main part of the film, but he learned to play the saxophone.
Did he really?
Yeah, for that part, which is, you know, that's some proper commitment. I don't even know if he liked jazz or not.
Yeah, that's pretty cool when they do that. They did that for Almost Famous as well. The band learned to play the instruments for that as well.
But possibly one of the main reasons I picked this one, I mean, it's got lots of other people in the cast. Harrison Ford's in it. Mm-hmm. Robert Duvall's in it briefly. Terry Garr's in it. But it's got John Cazale in it. And I bloody love him and everything that he was in. And is another actor who died far, far too early.
So young, so crazy. He's just, you know, I don't know. I agree with you. I bloody love John Cazale. And Dog Day Afternoon is one of my all-time favourite films.
And that's on one of my other little short lists here. But he was in 5 movies.
Yeah,
every single one of those 5 movies was nominated for Best Oscar, for Best Picture.
Yeah, The Deer Hunter, and The Two Godfathers, and Dog Day Afternoon,
and The Conversation. All of them were nominated. I don't think. Well, I think it won for Godfather, but possibly none of the others did. I can't remember. I don't know my Oscar history.
I think Dog Day Afternoon got Oscars, but I don't know.
I don't think it got Best Picture. I mean, I love that movie as well.
Yeah, it might have been screenplay or something.
But by the time he was making Deer Hunter, he was already very ill. And they weren't going to have him in it because the film company would not spring for the insurance, basically.
Okay.
No, if he dies halfway through filming, it's going to cost the bundle. They know he's ill, so the insurance is going to be a lot of money. Robert De Niro paid for it.
Oh,
Didn't pay
really?
for the film, but he paid for the insurance.
Wow, that's awesome. I love that.
Um,
See, Heidi said you were going to give us some nice trivia. That's awesome.
so yeah, but the conversation, I mean, it has been ages since I watched it. So this is one of the reasons I chose it. I know it's a film that I would like to see again and again. Can't remember all the details about it. I do remember watching years later a film called Enemy of the State.
Yes, when he
with
kind of almost
Gene
in
Hackman.
reverse as well.
I don't know whether it's supposed to be the same character.
I think they probably cast him
because it was
as a
him.
reference, but
Yeah.
I don't get the sense that it's the same character.
Yeah, I mean, it's from a different perspective, but I mean, there's quite a few sort of similarities between them as well.
Yeah, I really like that film actually. I think Gene Hackman's amazing in it. He just eats up the scenery. It's like you can't stop watching him when he's in it.
Yeah, he's an actor that's good in almost everything he's in. Yeah, I think he might be the best Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah, by a mile. He's probably the reason why the Poseidon Adventure is really good, even though it's obviously really cheesy.
If I could do more genres, disaster movies would have been one, because I love all those old 70s disaster movies. You've got Earthquake, you've got Towering Inferno, you've got Poseidon Adventure. They've all got really big casts. Have you ever played 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon?
Yeah.
Those films are fantastic for that, because everybody in it.
Yeah. But you got to be a proper film geek to do it with people, because they're like, I don't know anything that goes beyond the last few years. And we have to do it together.
Okay, well, I don't know anything from the last few years, unless it is those Pixar movies.
We got some comments here. So, Gene Hackman, conversation's a great pick. Heidi approves.
Good.
Diane's here. Hi, Diane. Watch Double Speed to catch up. I've not seen any of the films mentioned. Oh, well, clearly all of these come recommended by. Yeah, but also I would agree as well. These are all films I've seen so far. There's one I haven't seen, which later on.
That'd be a short conversation.
I don't know if you're going to guess which one it is, but there is one later on I haven't seen. But yeah, we both recommend these. But these are obviously Gavin's picks for his Desert Island. Gavin, you should do a top 10 of the best 70s flicks. Like, music seems to have the best movies.
I think the 70s. Yeah.
There's some. We've mentioned all the because it's not just Logan's Run, but 70s. You got the original Planet of the Apes and Soylent Green. You got the Omega Man. You got some fantastic sci-fi as well in the 70s.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some. I don't know what. I think it's because the world changed a bit, or America changed a bit, and some of those people that were kind of like the indie filmmakers, like Coppola and George Lucas and Spielberg, all those people were kind of coming into it, and John Carpenter as well in the late 70s.
Yeah, that's it. So a really good book. So a book recommendation for this story is The Kid Stays in the Picture by Robert Evans, who I think for a brief period of time was in charge of Paramount.
Right.
He was a former actor. I mean, there's lots going on in his life story. He was going out with Ali MacGraw, or married to Ali MacGraw, and basically she left him for Steve McQueen, so that didn't go down well.
Although, to be fair, to lose on that for that reason is not a bad reason to lose.
Well, look, I suppose if you're going to lose your girlfriend, if it's to Steve McQueen, you think, okay.
Can't compete with it.
What am I going to do? Fight him? But yeah, basically the Hollywood was dying on its ass. They're running out of ideas in the 60s. The old directors just weren't really doing anything properly new, and then near the end of the 60s, things will really sort of take off. So you get films like Bonnie and Clyde come in, where it's much more about these guys that have come out from more auteurs, really.
Yeah,
They come out from the UCLA film school, and
film
you get all
school.
the people. So this is why they all know each other, because they all went to the same film courses: Coppola, George Lucas, Spielberg. So at the same time, at that time in the 70s, they're making smaller, more personal projects, but stuff that really catches people's imaginations. People like Peter Bogdanovich doing The Last Picture Show and sort of films like this. Then they give them the Hollywood money.
Yeah.
And it kills that interesting decade in two ways. One, because Star Wars and Jaws and the really huge films get made. So everything from that point on has to be a really huge film. But also, I think, is it Days of Heaven? I think that comes out in 1980. That pretty much bankrupts.
Do you mean Heaven Can Wait?
Days of Heaven, Heaven's Gate, something like that. It's
could be Heaven. Yeah, Heaven's Gate. It's the one with Warren Beatty one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Heaven's Gate, I think. Yeah.
Huge, expensive, epic, terrible reviews. I mean, the thing is, he shot a 7-hour movie. Studio says, "Well, we're not having that. Cut it down to 2.5 hours." It gets absolutely butchered. Makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
Cost, at that time, hundreds of millions equivalent, and hardly makes any back, and bankrupts the studio. And at that point, basically, there's some consolidation in the studios, and everyone just plays it safe, which is what they've been doing for the last 45 years.
That's a big statement. Warren Beatty is an interesting person as a director goes, because he was kind of ambitious, wasn't he? Because he did that, but he also did Reds, and I think Reds is such an interesting film to make. And years later, he does Bulworth, which is a very left-wing political film. But Reds definitely was. Have you ever seen Reds?
I've not seen Reds. No, I don't think I've seen Bulworth either. But
they're both really interesting films from the point of view of this, big star who is clearly gonna upset some people with the subject he's doing and the content of the film, because Reds, from what I remember, because I saw that it was quite a life-changing, well, not just that film, but it was one of those films that had a big impact on me when I was a teenager. And him and Diane Keaton play these American journalists that go over to the Soviet Union during the revolution, and they kind of like cover it, or they get influenced by it, the impact of it on them. It's a really interesting. It's quite a long one from what I remember as well. So it's kind of epic in that sense. And Bulworth is definitely an anti-Republican film, and he sort of does this rap in the middle of it, which is kind of like, oh, what? Warren Beatty's rapping. But it's a very cool moment, because he's trying to kind of do something that's like more in line with the kids, because he's been told as a politician he needs to associate, he needs to get down with the kids. And go on.
All he really needed to do was just dance like this.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. But no, that's a really, I love that film, Bulworth. But yeah, he's an interesting character, and and you're right that he royally screwed up with Heaven's Gate.
It cost him I'm not sure. I don't know that he directed it.
And there's definitely a film.
I've got a horrible feeling it might have actually been Richard Gere, and we've just gone off on completely the wrong tangent.
Oh no, it wasn't Richard Gere. Definitely wasn't Richard Gere.
I'm going to have to check this now.
You can check it while we're chatting. We haven't got any other chat stuff on here yet, but we've still got people here, which is good. We haven't lost them. Someone else can tell us who directed it. I'm sure it's Warren Beatty. If I just started waffling about Warren Beatty after
Michael Cimino.
Oh really? Michael Cimino. Did he direct Deer Hunter?
Yeah, I think he did.
Okay, maybe I've redeemed myself by saying that.
I can't see Beatty or Gere mentioned anywhere. Who's in this damn film?
Heaven's. It's not. Maybe it's not Heaven's Gate. Dustin Hoffman and Warren Beatty. The film.
I don't think it's called Heaven's Gate. maybe that's it. Days of Heaven. It's called Days of Heaven.
Is it really?
I'm sure it is. Hold on. Let's get it right. Yes, 1978, Terrence Malick. That's the one I'm thinking of, with Richard Gere and Brooke Adams.
Okay, I'm not thinking of that. I'm thinking of the one that Dustin Hoffman and Warren Beatty's in. That's what I'm thinking of, because that was a massive flop. And I thought you were talking about that. And it's got some reference to heaven in the title.
Yeah, it basically starts off with like a $3 million budget, goes horrendously over budget. Everything that could go wrong goes wrong. Basically, bankrupts the studio.
What, the Terrence Malick one? The one the Days of Heaven?
As well, Terrence Malick didn't direct another film for 20 odd years. I think he did Days of Heaven and then nothing until The Thin Red Line.
Right.
Which was, when was that? That was like 99?
Late 90s? Yeah, late 90s. I was going to say late 90s, yeah.
So,
hey,
yeah.
I haven't got my phone with me, Gav. Can you look to see what this film is that Warren Beatty did with Dustin Hoffman? Because that's going to bug me, because that was a massive flop, and I thought it was called Heaven's Gate or Heaven Can Wait, something like that.
If you sure it wasn't Dick Tracy?
Oh yeah, Dick Tracy was underrated. I think it's better than the box office success. Oh, that's good. We've got this moment of investigation.
Yeah, I mean,
did you get it?
Where is it? Heaven Can Wait. Heaven Can Wait?
Is it Heaven Can Wait? That was the first thing I said, I think. Heaven Can Wait.
That's got James Mason and Julie Christie in it, as well as Warren Beatty, so I'm not sure that's...
Oh, well.
Who knows? We'll figure it out afterwards.
We'll move on.
This is thrilling for everyone watching. So science fiction was the last, I think it was the last of my genre picks.
Oh, okay. Now you just kind of pick out
again, on another day I might have picked Star Wars, but it's a film I know absolutely back to front because I've seen it God knows how many times since I was 6 years old.
Star Wars, the first one.
Yeah. And Close Encounters was very nearly it as well. I absolutely love that film.
Yeah, I've seen it many times. Which one?
Brazil.
Oh, Brazil. Oh, for many, many years, Brazil. I kept saying Brazil was my favorite film. I wouldn't say it now, but for years and years, I kept saying it was Brazil. I'm a huge Terry Gilliam man, so
yeah. I love him as well. Nearly The Day the Earth Stood Still as well.
Okay.
For a sort of proper sort of 1950s sci-fi. Or for a 1920s Metropolis. I thought, how many times do I want to rewatch it? I love it, but can I rewatch it loads and loads of times?
Yeah, I think I agree. I don't think that's a rewatchable one, but it's a great film though.
I would rewatch it, but not constantly. if you see the distinction.
Yeah, I see it.
And for something more modern now, I think Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, I think, is really clever.
That is good. That's a good choice. You're being very cheeky, by the way.
Sorry. Those are all the ones that I've not chosen because I've chosen 2001 because that's the only choice it could be for science fiction. 2001: A Space Odyssey. Again, that is one I could happily watch over and again. I could probably watch that back to back. There is just, I'm not even going to say there's so much going on. There isn't. It's just that everything is absolutely perfect. I can't,
beautifully made.
I can't find fault with the film, and I would happily watch it over and again. No, and it's got an intermission. Love a film with an intermission.
Not enough films have an intermission.
I mean, you can't really talk about the cast in this one because it's not really about.
It's not characters, is it?
Although it does have Leonard Rossiter in it, which is always a win. But yeah, the two main guys. I mean, a crew of 5, 3 of which you never see because they're in sort of hibernation. I suppose the main character might be Hal.
Hal. I thought you were going to say that, yeah.
But
I can't do that, Dave. I don't think I'm gonna. I don't want to do that, Dave. Amazing.
I think I remember reading that Kubrick because they put that voice in afterwards, and Kubrick was actually doing the voice.
Oh, really?
So they're having to do it opposite the director.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so it was put on. So ADR put it on with somebody else, but Kubrick did it on the set.
Yeah.
All right.
Earlier this year, I read The Lost Worlds of 2001. So this is after. It's a bit of a. It's a weird little mixture of a book because there's some stories, some early stories that inspired it from Arthur C. Clarke. There are some sort of scenes and a couple of stories which were ideas that got discarded, and it's also his diary entries. And that such a protracted pre-production process,
Yeah.
which is difficult to say. It took, they had to sort of rush the end because they thought, they could go bloody land on the moon before we get the film.
Yeah, then it screws everything up. I haven't read the book, but I've read Childhood's End and I really liked it. So so 2001 is another one of those Hall of Shame books.
It's really good. I mean, to be honest, if you've seen the film, it's sort of enough there because the film is not an adaptation of the book. The film and the book happened at the same time. It is proper sort of collaboration. Kubrick sort of vetoing stuff, some of it on technical grounds, some of it on story grounds, and it makes both the book and the film better.
Right.
For that collaborative process, I think. Although sort of you get a sense that Clarke is getting a little bit frustrated that I thought it was going to take 6 months, and sort of 2.5 years in, here we are still. But then he doesn't do himself any favors. He's on set for one bit. He mentioned something like it was something like, "Oh, that doesn't quite look right," or "That wouldn't happen." It's just like they just had to tear everything down and start this whole piece again. It's like, yeah, I'm going to steer clear of the production office for a few days because he's just upset Stanley. Stanley said, "Right, no, we can't do it. Yeah, you ruined the vision." I would have loved to have seen it coming out in the late 60s. Because I think at the time it would have been absolutely mind-blowing ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And it's all practical effects.
Yeah, we're too young, aren't we? But it would have been good to see it in the cinema.
I don't think I've seen it in the cinema. I mean, it's one that they should show loads of classic movies in the cinema from time to time. I know they won't get enough people to come and watch them.
No, my cinema in Portsmouth does. The Big View Cinema in Portsmouth shows old films all the time. Should have a look.
Well, it's obviously more culturally alive than this backwater.
So which city are you in again?
Ashford.
Where's your biggest proper city with cinemas and that?
Oh, probably Canterbury.
Canterbury must have I bet that's got that kind of cinema that show the old films.
I'm not sure it does. Maybe I'll have a look. But
yeah, have a look. I might have just changed your entire social life.
Created a little bit of one anyway.
I almost did a video responding to Randy Ray's thing about reading 100 books, wanting to say go out and do stuff, go to gigs, go to the cinema, don't read 100 books. But it seems like I don't want to stamp on his point because it's a great video. But I was thinking when I was watching it, going, "Well, I want to do other things as well." Where are we? We have got some comments. We've got some new people as well. So Heidi says, Steve McQueen, Robert Redford, Warren Beatty, Burt Reynolds, Clint Eastwood.
I think Heidi's making her own little list there.
70s film stars. Heaven Can Wait remake of Mr. Jordan. Oh, okay. I don't know Mr. Jordan, but it was a remake. So it was Heaven Can Wait. That was the one I was going to think of. So thanks for the help there. That's cool. Where are we? So Elaine's here.
Hi, Elaine.
And then Heidi asks, Elaine, do you have a favourite 70s movie star? You want to say Susan George, don't you?
Do you know? Donald Sutherland. Who's my favourite 70s star? Oh, I'll tell you who it is. And
yeah, I was when I was a kid. Oh my god, I was so enamored with him. James Coburn.
Mm.
I thought there was something about him. I thought he was awesome. So yeah, James Coburn's my choice for 70s movie star. Elaine says, trying to think of movies that came out in the 70s. Okay, having a little think. Diane says, hi. I saw them in the cinemas, but it was decades ago. Yeah, Elaine's a little bit older than us, I think. Hi. Yeah, so that was a hi. Yeah, so James Coburn. But apparently, well, I don't know, but I imagine if I watched in like Flint and Our Man Flint, they'd probably be a little dated. Because they're parodies of Bond films, aren't they? So it's probably even worse. The sort of the attitude to the ladies. So here we go. We are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're on our. Does that work? How many have you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So we're on
10, haven't I?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
This
You're
is
on
seven.
number 7.
This is number 7.
This is number 7.
So Italy. So Italian cinema.
Did you want to pick an Italian film? Is that what it was? You thought I need an Italian film in there?
Do you know? Yeah, I think that
I love that.
One of my favorite times is late 40s to the early 60s Italian. I haven't. There's so much of it I haven't seen, but you've got Rome, Open City. You've got the Battle of Algiers. I think that's Italian.
Yes.
And then you've got. It was a real toss-up between two films from Vittorio De Sica.
Okay.
Both of which are films that can reduce me to tears by the end of them. Umberto D, and it was very nearly Umberto D. But I've gone with The Bicycle Thieves.
Bicycle Thieves, absolute classic.
God, it breaks your heart. This is a film that must have cost 20 quid to make. It's almost guerrilla style. It's filmed guerrilla style because there's no permissions here. It's all done very, on the hoof. But the cinematography is fantastic.
It's got an energy, hasn't it?
Oh my! It's just the humanity of that film is absolutely off the charts. It is such a simple story, so well done. And
so tell because there's a possibility, because this is going back a little bit and it's Italian, it could be that a few people watch this haven't seen it. So tell us what about
the can't remember the character's name. Don't think it matters. There's a guy. Post-war Italy. The economy is, everything's in ruins. The city is in ruins. The economy is in ruins. But he gets a job. And he gets a job putting up posters. So, just going around town, getting the paste out, sticking stuff up on walls, so advertising cinema or theatre or whatever it is. And he gets a job because he's got a bicycle and someone steals his bicycle. So he has no job. So he goes around the town trying to find his bicycle. And he thinks he's found it. I don't think that I'm not even sure we ever really know if it is his, but he basically takes one.
Yeah.
And he gets caught straight away. So, I mean, that would be, sort of what makes the film is that with him is his son. And his son is, he must be 6 years old, if that. And, you can just see that this is going to be one of his core memories, is seeing his father being accosted, arrested for being a thief. And the look on his face, God, that's just, even now, just even thinking about it, I mean, it's shivers, it's misty-eyed, it's poetry. I can't I can't say much more than that. Is one of my favourites.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
And the personal assistant to the director and appearing as an extra in that film is Sergio Leone.
I didn't know that. That's fantastic. I did not know that. I love that. So he gets in there.
4 years later, he makes Umberto D, which is it's quite similar, but it's an old guy and his pet dog, and that'll probably get more people upset.
Yeah.
I mean, again, that is. It doesn't matter that it's a foreign film. There's not huge amounts of dialogue in it. You don't need it.
No. Although I would recommend watching foreign films with subtitles anyway. But yeah, some people just won't do that. So yeah, this is a film with not a lot of dialogue. Right, hold on. We got some comments here. We've got Donald Sutherland at the end of the TV movie Invasion of Body Snatchers is what I think of when he's mentioned. It's a great version. Philip Kaufman, isn't it?
I love that. Yeah, who did the right stuff as well. I think I prefer it to the 50s one. It's close, but I think I do.
Well, the thing is, I was looking for my phone, but I don't think my phone's at hand. But the 50s one features Carolyn Jones. And Carolyn Jones is a very important crush of mine, and she's my wallpaper. She was the original Morticia Adams, and she's my wallpaper on my phone. So yeah, she has a very small part in the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and that makes it my favourite out of all. But it's a great. I mean, both are great films. It's got to be said.
The remake of the Body Snatchers. I can't remember the actress's name.
Hold on. Is it Brooke? No, it's not Brooke Adams.
No, not the main one. The one who basically it's only her left at the end.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember her name, but she's got some science fiction pedigree. She's in that, and she's also in Alien.
Oh, is it Veronica Cartwright?
Yes, that's her name.
Yeah.
And she's also in something else when she was very young. I can't remember what it was.
She was in Lost in Space when she was the girl, Bill Murray's sister in
Lost
in Space. Yeah. Good mention there. Okay, so yeah, Elaine says she's 61, so she saw Star Wars and Star Trek in the cinema. The original Star Trek, I guess. Yeah, I would have been. I suppose actually both of those. So Star Trek, the original one is 1979. So yeah, I saw. To be honest, I didn't see the original Star Trek in the cinema though, but I saw the original Star Wars. It completely changed my life.
My first cinema visit was a double bill of Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, okay. So that would have been 81 or something, probably.
The Hackney Empire, the first film I ever saw at the cinema.
Nice. I saw Star Wars on its own in 77 when I was 6. So yeah, and like fast forward a couple of months later, I've got Star Wars wallpaper, duvet cover, absolutely everything is Star Wars for me as a little kid. It was a huge thing. I remember. Oh yeah, we go. I remember Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Main character Antonio in the bicycle.
Yeah. Also, main character in The Merchant of Venice.
Yeah. Leonard Nimoy was in the 70s Body Snatchers. Yeah,
Donald Sutherland, Nimoy, and Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum. I'm a big Jeff Goldblum fan, and he's kind of an odd guy, but I love it. I love it. Hold on, we got a comment from favorite actors Mark Hamill. So Elaine's favorite actor is Mark Hamill. That's interesting.
Okay.
I think he's very underrated. Everyone attacked him for years about not being very good and being the main part of such a big film, but he's much better than people say. So I think people. I
can't understand how he was never cast in something as JFK. He really was JFK.
Yeah. Well, Sebastian Stan is going to play Mark Hamill now, isn't he? Apparently.
And yet Harrison Ford has played the president God knows how many times.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. He's done a lot better in his career than Mark Hamill did. But Mark Hamill's had some high spots. I mean, obviously he's been a Joker for a long time now. So I think he loves that. He's had 2 careers, if you like.
The guy seems in a happy place. So
yeah. So that's all right. Whatever, as long as Mark Hamill's all right, we're all right.
The world's safe.
All right, we're on number 8, and this is an interesting one because Krzysztof Kieslowski was someone I was like really into when I almost did a degree in film and visual arts.
You're probably going to know more about him than I do. I've seen. So I mean,
yeah, go on.
I nearly chose one of your favourites, Amelie.
Oh, really? Amelie. Oh,
love that film. So yeah, this is a French one, as you can tell by the very French name Kieslowski. But if I wanted to go really obscure, I could have gone Last Year at Marienbad, which is. I don't know if I like it, but I think that'd be a really good one to watch endlessly because I want to understand what's going on.
You watch a really trippy film just so you can understand it. And then
I nearly chose Encore en Hiver, which is a beautiful film with Daniel Auteuil and is it Manuel Bayard? I'm not sure. Yes, I've gone for Three Colors Red, which is the last film in Kieslowski's Cornetto trilogy.
Very different Cornetto trilogy.
No, I think the Cornetto trilogy was because it's called Three Colors Red, the Three Colors trilogy. That's why they called it the Three Cornettos trilogy.
Well, hold on a minute. Obviously, the Kieslowski trilogy got nothing to do with Cornettos, right?
No.
Right.
The Edgar Wright trilogy.
Yeah,
it's called the Three Cornettos trilogy. The Three Cornettos.
The Cornetto, it is. Yeah,
because of the Three Colors trilogy.
I didn't draw that connection. It's just the fact they all had a Cornetto in them. But yeah, that's interesting because of the red, blue, and white. I mean, to be fair, Kieslowski did that because of the French flag. Yeah, the tricolour.
Or in fact, most countries' flags.
Yeah, red, white, and blue. That is literally the nickname for Union Jack, isn't it? But go on.
Yeah, so I've chosen Three Colors Red because I'm assuming I'm not allowed to take all 3.
Well, you can't, and Three Colors Blue is my favourite out of the 3, so we can tussle about which one's better than the other one. But clearly, you think Three Colors Red, but
Go
on.
Again, it's a coin toss. Three Colors White is an odd little film in the middle. It's very different. I mean,
it's a comedy, really, isn't it?
It's got Julie Delpy in it, which is serious bonus points on my chart. But I mean, Blue is a great film, but maybe it's been a while since I've seen it. It just felt more sort of a meditation on grief.
Oh, it is.
Whereas Three Colors Red is coming out of that to an extent because you've got the character of Jean-Louis Triquignon's character, whatever he's called, the judge.
Yeah.
He's in that space.
Yeah.
And Valentine begins to take him out of it.
Yeah.
Not from a very auspicious start. She kills his dog.
Don't say that. You can't say that.
Sorry. Bye, Elaine. So, Elaine doesn't like it when animals get hurt.
Just spell it out really slowly. He kills his dog.
Yeah, it is an accident. This be upfront about it. This wasn't a purposeful act, but yeah. So basically, she finds the owner. She's a model, isn't she? She's like a photo model. Fashion model. Has this car accident, finds the owner of the dog, and he just doesn't seem fazed by it at all. He's sort of in a space where it's like, oh, okay, whatever. And then she continues to keep visiting him. So he's a retired judge and he's just such a misanthrope. And slowly comes out of his shell. I just really like it. It's the first time, I think it's because it's a film where I suddenly noticed a lot more about cinematography. So there's a time when I was sort of paying more attention to it. And it's fairly basic. You know, 3 colors blue, there's a lot of blue. 3 colors white, there's a lot of white. 3 colors red, there's a lot of red. Okay. Oh, okay.
We were in our late teens, weren't we, when we were watching that?
I
think before I met my wife, I think.
Yeah, so this was, I probably watched it around 94, 95.
Yeah. So I was well into French, Italian, Spanish films. I was watching loads of European cinema at the time. But Kieslowski's Polish, so clearly I was into Polish films as well. But the thing with I'm going to say it out loud. I think the thing with 3 Colors Blue is I was watching Juliette Binoche for 2 hours, so I think that's probably affected it. You know.
Okay.
She's just wandering around being miserable for 2 hours, wasn't she? But it was great cinema.
And I love that. And I love that sort of that anthem as well that her husband had been writing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
a really lovely part where the music's going and basically it's tracing her finger over where she's tracing her finger over the notes, and it sort of stops when her finger stops, and then carries. There's so many little touches in his films.
Did you watch the Cameron? I think it's called the 10
Decalogue. Yeah,
the Decalogue. The Decalogue. Did you watch those?
I think I watched a couple of them.
Yeah,
short film about love.
Eh?
I got them from Love Film. You remember in the good old days when you were in a subscription service and they'd actually send you the physical discs. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the precursor to Netflix and all that, wasn't
it? Netflix bought Love Film.
There we go.
And basically threw all the physical media away.
Yeah.
So you don't want the danger of anybody owning anything.
It's all about physical media. I need to do another video about that. But yeah. Where were we?
So the Double Life of Veronique you did as well. I love that.
Yes, he did. Yeah. I did. So I'll go back to when I was at college. I was applying for university, and I had 2 places I wanted to go to. This is at a time when I wanted to be an actor. When I was in my late teens, and I had a place in Reading. And they asked me to write an essay about a film. So it could be about any film you want, and it could be any angle you want to take on it. And I chose a Krzysztof Kieslowski film called Blind Chance. Do you know that one?
Never seen it.
It's an amazing film that's set during a revolution, but it's also completely ripped off by Sliding Doors. So if I tell you it's like Sliding Doors, but more dramatic and political, then you see it's about these decisions people make that can completely change the direction they go in. It's like 3 parts to it, 3 different decisions he makes at this train. He either gets out, or he stays on the train for a bit longer, or he gets out and goes in a different direction, and it totally changes his life. It's such a brilliant film, Blind Chance. So
you're saying that Krzysztof Kieslowski is better than Joey Boswell from Bread?
Yeah, exactly. So when you said, when I knew that he was coming out, I knew that Kieslowski was coming up, and I was so excited to write the essay on it, and I was so pleased to go, this is what I've done. And they looked at it, and it was kind of like an audition to get the part in the university, and they really liked the essay, and it was all very cool. And then I didn't end up going, but that was like, I'd always kind of like remember that there was that thing, and it was all built on this love I had of European cinema, you know.
But there could be another path you took where you did go.
Beautiful. That was beautiful, Gav. Absolutely. See, yeah, that is true though. That is true. That's why Blind Chance and Sliding Doors are such profound films. Because I didn't go to university when I should have done. That's me meeting my wife, having the kids, staying in Portsmouth. I would have moved to Reading because actually I would.
Hollywood.
I chose Kent in the end, so I would have moved to Kent.
You made the right choice.
I would have maybe met you, but yeah, all those things are, it's amazing when you think about those decisions we make that make completely different lives. Obviously, that's got nothing to do with Three Colours Red. I apologise.
Well, there's a lot of synchronicity and stuff in Three Colours Red, and the ending as well is that. I mean, probably makes no sense unless you've watched all three films. I'm not sure I'd seen. I don't think I saw them in the right order. The first time I watched Three Colours Red.
Yeah, I saw White last. Yeah, but we'd recommend all three of them, wouldn't we?
Yes.
Yeah, great films. Right, okay, let's have a look at.
Yeah, it's an afternoon right there.
Yes, an afternoon there. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Heidi says, "Yes, Luke Skywalker is a good choice. He was in the soap opera General Hospital before Star Wars. That's cool. I bet a lot of actors started like that." Sebastian Stan just played Trump. He did, and I noticed in front of me on the plane there was a guy watching that film, and I was like, "That's Sebastian Stan. Oh, that's Trump." I do not want to watch that film. Elaine said, "Wow, I didn't know that. Rick Springfield and so many started on soaps." Yeah. Jesse's Girl, classic song. Come on. Right, number 9. This is the one I haven't seen. So this is you educating me on Went the Day Well. Tell me about that. I haven't even looked it up, actually.
So UK. So I've got to do a UK film. So I could have gone Mike Leigh, and I would have chosen Secrets and Lies.
Okay.
Again, that's a film that's got some moments in it. Don't break my heart. Oh, God, I love that line. It's The Third Man.
And so I should quickly say Mike Leigh gets his actors to improvise the scenes as well, doesn't he? Which is an amazing thing. But yeah, go on. The Third Man, yeah.
Third Man, Zulu, Lawrence of Arabia, A Matter of Life and Death. But I've chosen something.
Hold on, you haven't mentioned Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't think it. I like Shaun of the Dead. I don't think it matches Lawrence of Arabia. I'm sure Edgar Wright isn't going to mind me saying that.
I love that. Yeah, go on.
I've gone for the 1942. I think it's 40. Yeah, it's 42 movie Went the Day Well.
Right.
So directed by a Brazilian immigrant who turned up in the 1930s, made during the war when it was by no means certain we would win.
Yeah.
But told from the perspective of after the war, after we have won.
Oh, wow. That is amazing.
And it is written by Graham Greene.
Oh, okay.
And it is. Have you ever seen? Was it The Eagle Has Landed?
Yeah.
It's basically that was a rip-off of this film.
Oh, wow.
It is about this little village is the only part where the Germans actually got. So some paratroopers come in. One of the sort of the town elders, whatever one of the councillors or something, is a Quisling, so he's in on it all. And the Germans take over this. This is going to be their sort of internal beachhead. I don't think it's explained exactly why, but it's also a little bit like The Moon Is Down by John Steinbeck,
right.
Because once the villagers realise what's going on, they start to fight back. Sort of nothing is organised, but it doesn't help that the Germans have just killed the local sort of Dad's army, because they're all sort of bicycling up. They've been on a training day. They're all coming up the road on a bicycle. This Quisling, has told the Germans that they're going to be on this road at this time, and there's a machine gun ambush. That sort of turns the village against them, even more than they obviously otherwise would be. It's like, I mean, it's a propaganda film because it's made during the war. It's obviously, everyone keep your spirits up, but it is so dark as well. And again, it's a film that's got some moments in it. There are some lighter moments. You won't find many movies that's got Thora Hird killing Nazis with a
That's awesome.
it's a very short list, but this film's on it.
A Venn diagram. Thor
yeah.
ahead, killing Nazis.
I mean, it's absolutely, it is the chocolate box version of England that they're in.
Yeah.
It's actually the same village that they used for the Vicar of Dibley.
Oh, really? But it
So,
have to be a chocolate box version, because obviously it's got to be about morale at this point.
yeah,
right?
exactly. But it is not without its flaws. There was a war on. This is made whilst there was blackouts, and so there wasn't much in the way of sort of night filming, because you couldn't. Yeah. There's not much in the way there's lots of the people that are in it are old guys, because all the young guys have been conscripted. But there's a lot of female characters, because obviously he's telling the story, and all of the working age men would be away in the war, so it isn't like you're missing anything there. So it makes it more real from that perspective, but it also puts that onus on the women.
Yeah.
And there are some moments in it of sort of fighting back, of sacrifice, and then there's one moment really brings a lump to my throat every time, and I would watch that film all the time.
This is amazing, because I think this is the one film that I reckon a lot of people watching this may not have heard of, let alone seen. Do you know if it's even available on any of the streaming services?
Who knows? I mean, you could probably buy it on Amazon Prime or something like that, but I don't know. I don't own it, unfortunately. This is another one. The last time I got it was from Love Film.
That's awesome. Went the day well.
Yeah. So Cavalcanti, I mean, he made some stuff. One of his early jobs was he was a sound engineer on. Have you ever heard of the John Grierson documentary, The Night Mail?
No.
It's a 1930s documentary. John Grierson, I think it's called Grierson. John Grierson is basically the father of British documentary making.
Oh, okay.
And he did this, and it's got it's got a poem in it by W.A. Jordan.
Right.
Because why wouldn't you have it in your? Why wouldn't you have that in your? But you'll probably know the poem. It's like, here is a night mail crossing the border, bringing a check of the postal order, letters for the rich, letters for the poor. It's that one. It's like a sort of really sort of big documentary, and that's where he got his beginning.
Okay.
And then he ends up making this English propaganda film as a Brazilian immigrant.
Is it a long film, or is it quite a short one?
Hour and a half.
Right. To be fair, that's longer than I thought. I thought you might have said like it's about 70 minutes, because sometimes feature-length films in those days were really short.
Yeah, and you had to. Every year you would cut corners wherever you could, but it's not the best film in the world. It's definitely not the best film on this list, but it's got something.
Yeah, and you got like,
and if you're thinking, and if you think about the context of it, it's really quite special. And there's just one scene which that will get me every time.
But you don't want to say it because you don't want to spoil it.
I won't tell you exactly what happens, but there's the lady of the manor, and she's always
just check. It doesn't include the dog, right? It's not about dog, right?
No.
Carry on.
Lady of the manor, and she's a bit, just a bit bossy, a bit fusty, and she makes makes a sacrifice play to save a room full of the children of the village, and it just happens so quickly.
Wow!
You tell her, she hasn't thought about that. Something's happened. She's taken action. Done.
Well, yeah. She's just instinct.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And he's like, this is the one character you think all the way through. You're like, gosh, she's a bit of a cow. She is lording it over people, but it's like, as soon as when she has to make that call, and I think that's proper propaganda, because even the people you don't like, on the same side.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That's an awesome choice. We got one more left, but just check the messages before we go to this. So, Liminal Spaces is here. Hello, man. Nice to see you. Great channel. Check him out. The Third Man is incredible. It is incredible. You're right. What a wild premise. Is that the film that you're talking about, or this entire thing?
Well, the whole concept of definitely not Desert Island Discs.
Thanks, man. What went the day well is on Prime Video and Amazon.
Okay. Well, everyone's going to say it's crap now.
I'm going to watch it. What is it? Yeah. Well, I'm definitely going to watch it. Thanks. I'd like to check that one out. Yeah. Went the day well is a wild premise. Yeah. This is not so wild because it's been done to death. I get that. But that's cool. Yeah. So everybody watch that. That's great. I think a lot of people would be like, "Oh, what's this?" Went the day well. Is that went the day well? Sounds like a really English phrase, doesn't it?
I think it's from a poem. I can't remember which one.
Hold on. Sorry, I've just got. Apparently, I've skipped a comment. Have I? It's not appeared on here. Elaine says I skipped a dog comment, but I don't have the actual comment.
I can't see it.
Maybe you didn't press send. No, I can't see it, Elaine. Sorry. Maybe you were saying that you will watch that film as it's not a dog. I don't know.
You didn't have a dog called Mark Hamill, did you?
Yeah. There's no mention of Chewbacca, which is obviously the Star Wars dog. Although, no, I would actually argue that the Star Wars dog is R2-D2. I was going to do a video about dogs in science fiction, and I was going to include R2-D2.
Well, you've got to include the dog from Invasion of the Body Snatchers 70s version.
Okay. I'd have to rewatch that.
Something terrible happens.
Don't say that.
Oh, it doesn't die. Don't worry.
Hold on. Diane says, "You're welcome." That's about the watching it. I feel like I've just forgotten what I've just gone off on another thread. But we have the last film of your 10 films. So technically, you've actually done about 32 films.
Yeah. Well,
go.
But I mean, the last film, USA.
Right.
And that could have been any one of a number of films as well. So Raiders of the Lost Ark, All the President's Men, all the conspiracy films, Network, Dog Day Afternoon, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Chinatown, anything with Jack Nicholson in it.
It's confusing, the whole thing that everyone thinks he's done.
But I'm going to go for a pretty boring choice, but it's the right choice. It's Casablanca.
Casablanca.
I just love that film. I could watch that. It is, again, I could watch that endlessly. I could probably do half of the script. There's so many fantastic quotes in it. So it was, you wore blue, the Germans wore grey. I just all the gin joints in all the world. You had to walk into mine. I think there's a beautiful tone to the thing. Do you know what I mean? It does relax you. If you were stressing because you weren't being rescued on the desert island, it would settle you, wouldn't it? Watching Casablanca. Again, it's another short film. It's another film made during wartime, and this is before the Americans were in the war. It's almost a film trying to convince them to come into the war.
Very interesting.
But again, it's another film with just moments that really sort of get you. The scene where they sing the Marseillaise.
Yes.
In the bar. So the Germans are playing their music, and it's just like, is it Paul Heinrich, the main sort of rabble rouser, sort of, gets the band to play the Marseillaise, and they're dueling.
Yeah.
A duel of music.
Yeah, that's my favorite bit of the film. Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's fun. Yeah, it's brilliant. The dialogue is just absolutely whip smart, and it's got, Bogart is just absolutely on point all the way through.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those films I don't think I can fault it. It must be one of the most famous films in the world. So
yeah.
I'm not picking anything surprising from that perspective, but everybody is right on this point. So
yeah. No, that's a great choice. I'm sure everyone will agree. I think there's a couple of people already agreeing with you. Let's have a look. So we've got it might be the poem by John Maxwell Edmonds. Do you know about that poem?
I don't. I'm pretty sure. I think it is. I think it's from a poem, but I can't remember who the poet was.
Okay, well, we're going with John Maxwell Edmonds for a minute. Yes, I have issues with dogs and cats. The whole town can go as long as pets are good. Would you feel the same about the guinea pigs? Let me know, Elaine, if you feel the same about the terrapins and all the little pets. Greg says, I'm just here for the culmination of the list, just the last one. He just wants to know what your last point is. But were these in order? I can't remember. Did you say they were in order?
No, not really. No, I'm not saying it's my favorite. I didn't rank it like that as well. There's too many ways to slice this already.
So we got a high from Elaine. Solid choice. There we go. Solid choice. And then he says, you made much better choices than I would have. Well, if you want to come up and do this, then we'll find out what your choices are. All animals except humans. Nice. See, he acknowledges the fact that we're animals. So all mammals, all birds.
You rooting for the bugs in Starship Troopers?
Well, actually, I was, because we started it in Starship Troopers. When I do a live stream with Elaine, I'll try and find out if there's an animal she hates. We'll see if we can
find a film that destroys it. Okay.
It'll be a favourite film. Brilliant.
So, yeah, I mean, Michael Curtis, who directed that. So I had to think who the director was for Casablanca, because he made some really famous films. He made Captain Blood and the sequel, and The Adventures of Robin Hood, and sort of all of those sort of Errol Flynn type swashbuckling films, which is very different. It's very different from Casablanca.
Yeah,
but he also made White Christmas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know you directed White Christmas.
Which is one of the few musicals I quite like.
Oh, yeah, one of the few musicals you quite. That's interesting. So you're not a fan of musicals?
I'm not a fan of the musical.
Well, as a form. Do you sit there going? You sit there going, why the hell are they singing? What's going on?
No, I just don't sit there.
You don't like The Wizard of Oz? Are you telling me you don't like The Wizard of Oz?
I said few. You know.
Okay. And you don't like the Singing in the Rain?
No.
You don't like? Oh, Gav, what are you doing? I
don't get it. Why are they singing when they should be talking? I'm very simple like that.
I love it. Be nice, Gareth. I'm going to be reading Vanic on my channel. I know I'm very excited and I'm very honoured and grateful. And it'll be lovely to hear you reading it, because you'll read it better than I could. And it'll be interesting to see if the humour works with anybody, because it's just, I wrote that book just to make people laugh, so hopefully that works. But yeah, thank you, Elaine. I do appreciate it. And then we got Sweeney Todd with Angela Lansbury.
No, I don't even know that one.
Well, Sweeney, I know she appeared in the theatre a lot, but I don't know. I didn't know the original. I didn't know there was a version with her on film. I really like the Tim Burton Sweeney Todd. Sorry, put that back. Sorry. Yeah, I really like the Tim Burton Sweeney Todd. I think it's brilliant. Oh, are you saying it's the best musical?
Yeah, but it's like saying he's the tallest dwarf.
It's the tallest dwarf. Okay, hold on a minute. So you don't like dwarves?
Not if they're singing.
Not
they're singing when they should be acting.
You just attacked, or David Rappaport and Mike Purvis. Who else has he attacked?
Peter
Peter
Dinklage.
Dinklage. He's now the famous one. Oh my God, what are you doing? Okay. Hold on. Okay. Elaine's off to watch my vlog. Go for it.
See you, Elaine.
That is cool, Elaine. It is very cool. Okay, so we won't talk about dwarves, yeah? Because
I'll tell you, if this had been my 10 worst films, I think the majority of them would have been musicals.
I thought you were going to say the majority of them would have had dwarves in them. I'm going to just keep that going for a minute so everyone thinks you hate dwarves. So you don't like Time Bandits. Well,
I love Time Bandits. I love Time Bandits. I can't believe they've remade that. They should have left that one be.
Yeah, that is not dated. That film is not dated at all.
They never will date that one. It's possibly, again, you know, I don't know why I didn't get any Terry Gilliam on the list, but
you were going by country, weren't you? So you've already you tackled America. You decided. I'll tell you what you decided. You decided that Searchers was better.
He just eluded me as an American in the UK making a film called Brazil, so I missed him.
He just confused you. Yeah, you actually think that where are we? Casablanca is better than Time Bandits.
I think any of them are better than Grease.
Yeah, that's not the one that you want. Yeah, Elaine, I gave you permission. I'm very, very much looking forward to it. I absolutely would. I'll definitely give you permission. Glad I missed it. I missed what he missed. Oh, they remade Time Bandits. Time Bandits. Yes. There's a new version of Time Bandits on Apple TV. So I haven't seen it because I haven't got Apple TV.
No one's got Apple TV. I think it's a myth.
It's made up.
They're making all of these profits from basically taking 30% of everyone's apps on the App Store, and they're making lots of very expensive productions that nobody is watching.
There's a couple of things that appear in there. I'm gutted I haven't got Apple TV. There's a couple of films I thought, that looks good. That looks good, but I'm not gonna go into the Paramount Plus and Apple TV. I feel like I've got enough of the ones I've got. And even that, there are lots of discussions in the house about whether or not we got too many. But for me, we've got the right amount, and we can't have any more. But it's annoying, isn't it? It's like, can we just have a TV and have the choice of those things?
The Pirate Bay. Bring the Pirate Bay back.
Yeah. In a month of Apple TV for Severance. Yeah, Severance. Yeah, I wasn't massively chuffed about the book. I don't know if it's the same as the book, but I was. I don't think
it's the same.
Yeah, I didn't like the book much. But again, it was how it was written. It was just, don't know. The prose was a little bit stodgy for me.
That's unfortunate. I'm reading that next year.
I saw that on your list. I need to talk to you about your list, but not in this show. But I think we've done our 10, haven't we?
That's it.
Yeah, they're usually around 2 hours
long.
All
78 of them.
Done the right thing. So, yeah, so all of those thousands of films that Gav's mentioned are recommended by the man. And I concur with everything except the ones I haven't seen, which I think is just went the day well. So, yeah. As you've mentioned Kubrick, just on one last comment, as we talked about 2001, what do you think of AI, artificial intelligence, the film?
Oh, the film or the concept? It's all right. It's difficult because
it is difficult. It is difficult. You can't have a straight answer, I don't think, for this film.
There's stuff wrong with it. There was a good film in there, is what I would say.
I think there was a great film in there, and they just screwed it up by doing too much. I think if you take out the last 20 minutes, it'll be a fantastic film.
I've only seen it once, and it was when it came out. So,
yeah,
when Haley Joel Osment was still a kid, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But the woman, I can't remember her name. The woman who played the mum, she does an incredible performance. I think it's about motherhood, isn't it? The whole film's about being a mum. But yeah,
just like Alien.
Francis O'Connor, is it? Yeah, it's exactly like Alien. You're absolutely right.
That's all about motherhood, isn't it?
Yeah. If you're a film student. We've got one more comment here. This is fun. It is fun. Thank you, man. Glad I caught most of Gavin's list. I'll go back to watch the bits I missed. Brilliant. Yes, please. And I hope everyone's enjoyed it. Yeah, we normally get to around this point. So I know that you said you don't want to go on forever, but this is usually around the time that we finish anyway.
Okay.
So
well, I've got to be up in 5 hours.
Yeah. I know I've got to start thinking about the fact I've got to work, even though I've just come back from holiday and it's confusing. But I've got to teach tomorrow. No, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, we love our work. We're happy citizens.
But thanks a million for coming on. It's been a really cool chat.
It's been fun.
Yeah. I find these things just a really nice, relaxing sort of, chat about movies. We actually did mention a couple of books.
Yeah. It's probably unavoidable,
Yeah.
Lots of films have books attached to them.
Yeah. Maybe we should do a big old discussion with a bunch of people about the best movies that were books.
Well, the best books that were movies. Could call it April Dean Foster. We'll do it in April.
April Dean Foster. I love it. That's the thing. I've got tons of Alan Dean Foster to read. I could do that next April.
The answer is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Okay.
That is the best film adaptation of a book, I think.
I like the idea that whenever you ask, the answer is One Flew Over
That's
the
Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah, you want the answer. We don't have to do it now. That's the answer.
It's not 42. Well, I've got that to read as part of my banned books list. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, so I do need to read that. But I have I have a long relationship with that thing because I saw the film when I was a teenager, fell in love with it, watched it many times since. But also, significantly, I went to the West End and saw it in the theatre with Christian Slater playing the Jack Nicholson part.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
it was amazing. It was absolutely wonderful seeing it. And Mackenzie Crook played Billy.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
And he was brilliant. So that was such a one of my. It's what we just saw this week is a competitor for it, but for years I said it was my favourite thing I've ever seen it in the theatre. It was amazing, and it wasn't a musical. Can you imagine making One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest into a musical? Someone will one day.
Yeah, that's it. You've spoiled it now. Apple. Oh, wait a minute. It's just been released on Apple TV.
And there's a bunch of dwarves in it as well.
It's, who's the guy that's in everything at the moment? He'll probably be in it.
Giancarlo Esposito's in everything.
Right, I will take that.
Okay, cool. We'll do the last few comments. Diane says, "Thanks, this is awesome, y'all. Thank you, Diane. Fantastic. That's a great idea. Yes, let's do it. Let's do it." And Greg says, "One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a Western." Yeah, we'll make it Western.
Is it? Yeah, God.
Oh my God, my mind's been blown.
Oh, I'll tell you what, you want to bring one last thing of books back into it? Back to John Ford, back to The Searchers, back to John Ford. He also directed The Grapes of Wrath.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Did you see that link I made on my John Steinbeck video to the Marx Brothers?
Oh, I missed that bit.
That was a bit mad. So the original theatre production of East of Eden, I think it was. Yeah, it was East of... No, of Mice and Men. First theatre production of Mice and Men was by George S. Kaufman, who wrote for the Marx Brothers films.
Right. Okay.
And he became like really close to Groucho and Harpo. How mad is that?
I suppose everyone's got their sort of, what they do for their living and what they might want to do for pet projects, and
yeah,
very different entirely.
Yeah. Well, it's a crazy world.
Yeah. like most of the Marx Brothers movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Do I wish it to be that crazy? Probably not.
Well, it's crazy in a good way rather than crazy like it actually is.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. It's a different kind of crazy. Although Duck Soup is the kind of war that it keeps declaring war for literally no reason, just because of a conversation going badly.
Yeah,
we should
I'm
watch.
sure there's absolutely no analogy to modern times in that.
That's true. Right, we're going to go because Gavin's got to get up in the morning, and I think I have to as well. So, thank you so much, Gav, for a great.
Thank you very much.
And see you later. So soon there'll be an episode 8. I don't know who it's going to be yet, but let me know if you want to be involved. Thanks a lot, everybody. Keep watching films, and keep cinema live.
Let's record it.
It's music, isn't it? Keep music live. Keep cinema